What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Casio and the Road Dog. We are here for a YouTube exclusive version of...
Oh, you didn't know?
Well, Dog, if you didn't know, you are catching some heat. Not the podcast heat like we're a part of, but from our man, Dax Harwood. He has said some things. He started his own...
Hey, you popped on the show last time too.
I did. Yes.
You look like Dollar Tree Dax.
Not my name. Come on.
Oh no, it is your name. It's my show, and it's your name. But look, I did want to ask you, DTD. I did want to ask you, like, you heard about this, right? About Dax Harwood kind of going in on me. He was asked by co-host Matt Kuhn on their podcast. So what do you think about all this? And look, I appreciate that you're a friend of mine and that you're on my show, but I want to hear your take on it before I give you mine.
Absolutely. So so basically, like, Dax talked about you and all the stuff about, like, your past situation. And I don't know all the dynamic of your guys' relationship. I just know you and how you are. And you're like, I think the misconception of you on social media is very overblown and taken to an extreme where it's like things get leaned on. And I keep saying on social media, I was like, don't judge people until you actually meet them. You know what I mean? Don't judge them until you meet them. And
well, you are spitting in the wind there.
Buddy, you're a rarity, my friend.
And so, like, getting to meet you at WrestleCon for the first time, you were the nicest person. You introduced me to Billy Gunn. You introduced me to everybody as, like, your new social media guy. And then just understanding too, like, Dax, I got to meet Dax a couple times, and he was a very nice person too. Yeah. And then knowing the similarities that you guys have, like, you're both Southerners and you're both like men of God and like God-fearing and all that stuff. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that balances out with that. And then just to see the whole situation and dynamic of you guys go. And, like, even the fact too, I will add that, like, I think Dax, like, is one of the best wrestlers going from a in-ring standpoint and all that stuff. And, like, I ranked him up there for Wrestlers of the Year. We had to nominate him for Wrestling Inc. Yeah. I did Dax. I did Jeff Jarrett for different reasons.
Right.
Different reasons. And then I did John Moxley too, because he was kind of the balance of it all. Yeah. And so, but it's just, I think it's a crazy situation, but you guys have a relationship.
So let me ask you this. Why does Dax get the credit and the other kid doesn't?
I think a lot of it is being kind of more vocal on social media aspect of it comes into play. And he is very outspoken and says what's on his mind, and whether he's wrong or right about it. Like, I think that kind of comes into play where Cash is just a little bit more low key about it all. And right. I think, and there's a balance to social media life. There definitely is. You want to promote yourself, but there's also the allure, the air of mystery that you kind of want to keep too. But
I think, look, you mentioned John Moxley. He's never been on social media,
right?
And it's probably beneficial for him, to be quite honest. I know it's beneficial for him mentally and emotionally in every other way.
For all of us, it would be.
But
right.
But it's probably helps his character a bit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know everything about him. So I appreciate your take on it, and I don't disagree with that. I think me and him are very much alike, and there's some differences, and we'll probably get into those as we go.
Dollar Tree Dax, thanks for popping in.
Yeah, thanks for popping in. Hey, thanks for your take. But like I said earlier, it's my show, so can you ixnay him?
Buzz on off.
You can go back to whatever cult compound he was broadcasting from there. Me and you have got to get to the man and the actual quotes.
Yeah.
From Dax himself. I want to break it down. We got like 3 paragraphs where he broke down he gave a quick story of basically his run-ins with you, Dog.
Yeah. And
we'll get kind of your take after each paragraph of just what you think. So first of all, and I'm going to quote as best as I can. These are these are the transcripts as far as I can tell. So I think the day Road Dogg met me, he didn't like me. We had a match that you may have heard of against American Alpha at Dallas, NXT Dallas. That's one of my favorites of all time. I had in my mind what the match was. I had a story I wanted to tell. I knew the false finishes I wanted. I knew exactly how we wanted the front half to go. I knew exactly what was going to work. He offered an idea the night before Dallas. We were talking with Jordan and Gable. I was explaining them the story that I wanted to tell, and he offered an idea. I didn't shoot it down. I just didn't think it fit into the story I wanted to tell. First off, Dogg, is that a correct statement? First, did you not like him the day you met him?
So that's so I didn't. It's not that I didn't like him the day I met him. It's that he rubbed me the wrong way, and I don't know that that was something he did or something that is on me. And if it's on me, I'm in a place in my life where I'm trying to correct those character defects. So if that's on me, I'll accept that. But he rubbed me the wrong way from day one, and I think
you didn't have a preconceived notion though.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
You're saying this was after interacting with him. Yes,
yeah, this is after our first interaction where what I saw and what I heard was exactly what I just saw and heard there. I was telling Gable. I was telling Jason Jordan. I was telling everybody what to do. And Road Dogg came over and had an idea, and I brushed him off and acted like I knew better. That's what happened. I mean, he just repeated it. So if I was salty that day and that rubbed me the wrong way and I went over and said something negative about him, I could see that happening 100%. I can see that happening, like with me and with him and with 100 other people the same way. Somebody rubs you the wrong way, you go tell your friends, right? So let's continue on with what he said.
Yep, he said, Dogg went to an unnamed source who was a very big part of the WWE office, and he proceeded to bury me and told that person that I thought I knew everything and I would never try to learn anything and all this stuff. And so, I had my own reservations about him. Like you mentioned.
About him, that's an important prepositional phrase there, or excuse me, a pronoun. Who's he talking about? Me? Like he had his own.
Yes. So
about me.
After you went to an unnamed source that's a very big part of the WWE office, you buried him to that person. You told that person you thought that Dax knew everything and that Dax would never try to learn anything and stuff. And so Dax now has reservations about you.
Well, look, I understand you having reservations about me, but in our short, brief first time, our interaction, you showed me that you knew better, not only than me, but all your teammates and all your opponents and the referee and everybody. You knew it all, and nobody could tell you anything. So that was my first take. That's what I relayed to somebody. Let's continue.
He goes on to say, then come a year later, I wanted to say it was right around December, there was some sort of gimmick gauntlet tag team match on SmackDown, and for some reason the fans thought the Revival was going to make their debut there. The fans were tweeting and freaking out over it. When the match was over, and, we were heels, him talking about FTR,
yep.
Dax says, I went on Twitter and said, you fans thought we were going to debut on the main roster in a stupid gimmick gauntlet match. You've lost your mind, or something like that. At the time, Road Dogg was booking, and he took offense to that because I said, stupid gimmick. He proceeded right on Twitter that if I kept up, he would make sure that I'll never make it to the main roster, which if I never make it to the main roster, that cuts into my money, which goes into the money that I make for my family, which I can provide for my daughter who can go to college, or I can make sure my wife has food, and that's what bothered me. First of all, do you remember this Twitter exchange with Dax?
I do. And look, this is one part where I think he got it right. I shouldn't be on Twitter responding to people like that. I probably shouldn't be on here responding to Dax like that, to be quite honest with you. But I am because he said something and I can say something back, I guess. It's not that I don't like you and I didn't like you from day one. You rubbed me the wrong way, dude. And first, first time's a charm, or whatever the old saying is. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, yeah. Then we had this Twitter thing. You were you're in developmental, wanting to come up to the main roster, and heel or no heel, I don't care if you were in character during this. You said, "Oh, this stupid thing." You're burying the product that you represent. But you don't represent it yet because you're not there yet. And so I could have never stopped you from making it to the, thank you for thinking I have that much power, but I could never stop you from making it to the main roster. You made it to the main roster. You just didn't make it on the main roster. So I don't know what else we need to say. You and I just disagree. And I think, to be quite honest, Dax, if we sat down and had dinner, we would agree on way more than we disagree on. We started off on the wrong foot, and if half of that's on me, I'll accept that half. But if half of it's on you, are you willing to accept yours?
Let me get some of these more. He has 2 more quick paragraphs. I want to get the facts out and get your side of it.
Okay.
And if you see it the same way he did.
Yep.
Right after he put that tweet out, I got a call. This is Dax. Yep. I got a call from Mark Carano, or a text from Mark Carano, and it led to a call from both of those guys to make sure.
I wanted you to stop there. Who's both of those guys?
I don't know.
I don't know either. And I understand one of them's Mark Carano. I don't know if he's saying the other one is me
he said
or not.
It led to a call from both of those guys. Did you call him after that Twitter exchange?
I don't remember doing that, but,
okay.
I have a horrible memory.
He says to make sure they were covering their tracks, because Road Dogg basically said he was going to make sure that I would never have any advancement in the company. Legally, they're not allowed to do that because they're in a power and position in the office. And for him to say, I'm going to make sure you're not going to move up and you can't advance your money, legally, he shouldn't be able to do that. So they were trying to cover their tracks. You don't remember the phone call. Do you remember anybody ever calling you saying, hey, bud, you messed up on Twitter. We need to fix a fire.
I think they called him and said he messed up on Twitter. And I feel like that's the truth. Like you're burying the product under which you work. You know what I mean? You're burying where you're trying to get to on Twitter for all to see, whether you're a heel or not. That's just bad business. And again, that's just my opinion.
He says, final deal here. He says, then fast forward, and I'm sure we'll talk about this one day. He's talking about it on his new podcast.
Yep.
Raw 25. I had to go in there and make sure that all of Sean and his friends looked like $1 million. We got to the back, and Road Dogg passed right by me. He didn't say thank you after we bumped around for him. The only person that said thank you was Sean Waltman. So as a wrestler, I respect everything he's done for the business, and I respect the path he's paved for us. As a person, I don't know how much respect I have for him.
Well, I understand. I hear you, Dax. I don't know what we're to say here or where we're to go. Like, we started off on the wrong foot and we ain't got on the right one yet. I'm willing to put the past behind me for sure. But as far as the Raw 25 thing goes, like, I'm sorry. I really am too, that I didn't thank you, because I don't feel like that's like me. But I also at the same time thought, like, well, do you need that? Like, you know what you did. You went out there and you did what you were supposed to do, and you did it really well. I didn't know I needed to thank you and say how great you were in order to get your respect as a human being. But I do apologize for not thanking you, and I thank you now publicly for doing that for us. But don't act like you're above that, because you were in the ring with a bunch of Hall of Famers, man. And I know you don't like me, but I was in the ring, and I'm a Hall of Famer, and I was one of those guys. And I'm sorry if that offends you, or if I don't respect the mat enough for you. But I got a different idea about pro wrestling than you do. And mine's the one that makes a bunch of money, and yours the one that pleases all the boys. And so, well, I don't know, poop in one hand, wish in the other. But we can get past this. We just can't talk about politics or wrestling with each other, I don't think. And actually, our politics probably align too. But I just, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many similarities. We're going to let this little thing hold us back from, I don't know. I'd love to be on your podcast. I'd love to have you on my podcast. I think this is an invitation to heal the world, to start with the man in the mirror. And I'm damn sure willing to look at me. Are you willing to look at you? So that's, let's move forward, and let's get past the gripes of yesterday and make this better and do better as people. If I've done something to offend you, if I, like I said earlier, if some of this is mine to own, I own my half. Do you own yours?
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. That's what we're about. We're getting the opinions. We're reacting live here on the YouTube exclusive. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Comment below. Let us know what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button. Dog, I appreciate you taking time man, to respond.
Thank you.
Your name's in the headlines. We got to do this.
I appreciate you guys letting me redo it, because the first one I cut, I don't think it's proper for, it'd be like TV 14, I think. There was some anger issues, but we got past it. Dom cried and left for a brief moment, but we got past it, and here we go. We're going to move forward. That's growth, ladies and gentlemen. I saw my misbehavior, and I cut it off before we pushed send. So
we'll save that one for when Jeff Jarrett takes your job in a couple years.
After I go on the Dagg Harwood podcast, and I'm serious about that. Look, we are under the same umbrella now. I'd love to come on your podcast. I'd love to have you on mine. That's an open invitation, and it's for real.
There you go. From ours to his, we appreciate him joining the family, and we rebutted the best we could. And like Dogg said, hope we can do it. I mean, me and Matt Coon, we're just the sidebar here. I mean, he can die for all I care. I don't care about him.
I hope you die.
Just kidding. Love you, buddy. Love you, Dax. Love you, Dog, man. Appreciate you taking the time during this holiday week. And look, if you don't like this and you're not about it and you're watching this, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it.